thank you very much to everybody who's attending the Pokit Innovations webinar. Obviously, it's been a joy to work with you guys up to date, and really having this session to further explain the business and facilitate any questions has been something I've been really looking forward to, because in learning a lot more about the business, I feel like there's just so much to dig into and get into in the future. And really just introducing everybody who's here. My name is Robin. I'm here representing Birchal. You've got Rowan and Heinrich here from Pokit, who are the dedicated team behind the very innovative company. And just to give everybody an idea of the structure for today's webinar, we're going to be having a quick presentation to better understand Pokit, what its traction has been to date and where it's going. And then the rest of the session is going to be a Q&A. So what I would like everybody to do while they actually do have questions that pop into their head is to use the Q&A feature down in the bottom bar. Just simply add your question in there, and as soon as we can get to it, we will get to it. So thanks very much, everyone. I'm going to throw over to you guys to quickly introduce yourselves and then run us through this presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. Thanks for the session and introducing us. My name is Heinrich Venter. I'm the CEO of Pokit Innovations. And next to me, I've got Rowan Bell. He's our Chief Product Officer and Chief Designer behind our products. So welcome to the session. We love having you guys on. Thanks for the interest that you're expressing in our business. We hope you have got lots of questions for us today and can learn more about the business. So Pokit Innovations is a business that was started out of Ingenuity Design Group, which is actually a product consultancy out of Sydney. And we were really inspired, by the engineering community to develop products and tools that's versatile, that's easy and accessible to use, and is really affordable. If you can go to the next slide, please.
Stop sharing. Oh, yeah, we'll just start sharing this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So we're just getting our deck sharing.
Okay, next slide.
Yep. Go next. Sorry, guys, just some technical difficulties. Here we go. So really what we want to talk to you about today is what our mission is, our traction so far, key business numbers, some future growth plans, and then obviously open it up for you guys to ask any questions, and we'll try and fill as many answers as we can. Next one. So our mission is really to democratize test and measurement equipment. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to ask Rowan to maybe touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, look, it's a pretty broad statement, but like, how do you achieve a mission like that? So, I mean, we want to, in essence, we want to be able to provide, as Heinrich said, versatile, affordable, and easy to use equipment to anybody who wants to use it. So, to do that, we've got to kind of change the paradigm of how they've been doing test and measurement equipment for so long. So maybe just go to the next slide. We can kind of talk, one of the aspects of that is obviously design focus. So, some hardcore engineers might wonder why this is important, but when you think about regular test and measurement equipment, it's full of buttons, very complex to use, they're big grey boxes. So having a design focus and thinking about the usability and the size of the product is kind of key to our strategy to bring new people in. It kind of doesn't make it intimidating to use, it makes it just really easy to pick up and you're kind of excited to use it. They're fun colors, they're easy to understand. And then we really harness the power of the smart device to give you all of the functionality built into the app rather than a million buttons on the product. So
yeah, we really want to utilize new and modern technologies like mobile phones, mobile apps, integrate that with the hardware. Now suddenly we've got a whole host of new things that we can do with technology in the space. That's really hasn't seen a lot of innovation in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. So to talk a little bit about our traction so far, the business was founded in 2017. We've had more than 3.47 million in total sales received to date. We sold more than 8,000 Pokit meters. More actually today, as we sit here today, we've actually exceeded 18,000 pre-orders on Pokit Pro. Pokit Pro and both Pokit Pro and Pokit Meter, we launched on Kickstarter campaigns because we really value the input that we get from community. We want to get people along on the journey. They give us great input. We always test our ideas with our community, and that helps us develop products that's really defined for the market and the consumers out there. So we've got more than 17,000 customers already. We've actually sold our product in more than 100 countries. Our largest markets is the USA, Europe, and then Asia Pacific. We've received the most funded DIY electronics project on earth for the Pocket Pro campaign in November 2019, where we sold just in a 30-day period, $1.1 million worth of product. More than, I think, 6,000 products that were sold on that campaign. And we went on with the Indiegogo campaign to sell even more, and have continued to have ongoing pre-orders coming through our website, even up to today. Our innovative designs, thanks to Rowan's creativity, have received 2 Good Design Award winners, and we will continue on the journey as we develop new products to actually make products that will get these accolades in the future. We've had 7 signed distributed deals just on Pocket Meter alone, and we've had more than 100 people inquiring about our products and wanting to distribute that into different countries, different markets. And we're really excited to engage those people even now that Pocket Pro is available, to take on more distribution deals elsewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of people excited about Pocket Pro taking that on.
Yeah. Next slide, please. So we've got a couple of business slides just to give you some of the traction that we've seen in the business. Starting in July 20, this is really coming off of the back of our Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns. We made this a cumulative slide just to show you how nicely we've grown. And if you think about how many products we're putting out there, we've got an app that we've developed that integrates with this phone. So every single customer that buys our product has got the app in their hands. And this is really important for us because we want to release new and future software features to these customers. So the little blue bar at the bottom of that graph shows you the Pocket Meter unit sales, cumulative unit sales over time, and then the dark blue bar is the Pocket Pro sales. And as you can see, that just eclipsed what we've done with Pocket Meter already, and this is what's making us really, really excited. Over and above that, we're also selling accessories with these tools. So people are able to go into our web store, they're able to find unique accessories that's available for them to do different things with the tools that we've developed. I don't know if you want to maybe touch on some of the accessories that we're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're quite, we've got quite a small amount, but we do things like having the Arduino kit that sells with the Pocket Meter and the Pocket Pro, and that is basically like a starter kit for people who want to get into electronics. So we sell like the little board and all of the parts you need to work with it, and the Pocket Meter really works well in that application for people learning about electronics. So we really need to scratch the surface on accessories. We know that as we kind of go into new demographics and new markets, there's new kind of kits we can build for those people. So yeah, automotive space, and field technicians, all of these people need their own special accessories.
Yeah, and I think, Brian, you touched on an important point there. We really want to build solutions that's specific for market. Like Brian touched on the automotive space. If you think about electric vehicles, I think there's so much scope for test and measurement equipment in that space in the future. So we want to develop solutions and products that will really fit into the market. The same in education. We've had a lot of market traction in education. In fact, Yale University's bought 400 of our Pocket Meter products to integrate into their remote learning curriculum, during this COVID pandemic. And I think that is an ideal opportunity for us. So we want to partner with people that can help us create content, where we can build solutions around that and really make that available to our community.
Yeah, not just accessory solutions, but also app solutions too. Yeah. So there's plenty of scope to grow.
Yeah. Next one. So for those of you that are familiar with e-commerce metrics, we pulled some metrics out of our e-commerce storefront. So we run our shop on Shopify. We also sell through Amazon, by the way. This is only reflecting our Shopify metrics. So you can see in the blue bar over there, this is the number of orders that we receive on a monthly basis. And then you've got the average order value. Now, what's important to us is, and what you can see towards the end of that slide over there, is that we've actually got an increase in average order value. And the way that we increase average order value is by building these solutions and by building these extra accessories that we can sell. So we can actually increase the average order value of each customer coming through and buying products from us. And what we're seeing at the moment is a lot of people are buying bundles. So they'll buy a little Pocket Meter together with a Pocket Pro, And that's a bundle because the Pocket meter, they can fit on their keychain and just carry around. The Pocket Pro might be, used in a different use case. In other instances, like Rowan touched on before, we're selling into the education space. So a lot of electronic enthusiasts or students wanting to learn about electronics are buying an Arduino kit together with a Pocket meter. So that, that's a way to actually increase that average order value. And what's really exciting about this for us moving into the future is we're actually developing new products, which you will learn a little bit more about in the offer. But we've actually designed and I'm in prototype phase with a product called the Pocket Clamp. And again, that's going to be a nice new bundle that we can sell to our consumers and to our market. And that will actually also increase that average order value. We do anticipate an increase in orders. At the moment, this includes pre-orders actually, but once we've got Pocket Pro available on the shelf and are ready to ship, we do anticipate that we'll see a ramp up in the average orders going up on a monthly basis. Next slide, please. So we wanted to give a little bit of insight into our financial traction. This is our revenue and operating profit. What's not reflected on this average or this revenue number from a monthly basis is actually the pre-sales that we've seen coming through Pocket Pro. So this is actual revenue. It's actual product that we've shipped. It's Pocket meter products mostly with accessories that we've shipped. Just showing the last, I think it's 20 months. To give you an idea of where our revenue sits at the moment. And towards the end of that slide, we are seeing an increase in our revenue. And there's a reason why we're seeing the increase in this revenue is the pre-orders that we received, we started to fulfill in December last year. So in December 21, I think we shipped about 400 units. So that shows you, a slight increase in revenue. In January, we fulfilled a smaller amount. And then actually just coming off the back of February, we fulfilled another, I think, 1.5, maybe 2,000 units. And we've got a remainder of 15,500 units that we still need to ship out, and that will go out over the next couple of months. So we're anticipating that this we'll see a nice revenue increase there from a revenue operating profit point of view. Next slide, please. So Ryan, do you want to touch on the app and how our tools actually work together?
Yeah, so I think we kind of touched on it already about how people are buying bundles and how that increases our average order value. And part of this system that we built is kind of leans into that. So because we have one app where multiple products can all be working there simultaneously, we can actually, it helps us with bundles because people will buy two Pocket Pros or a Pocket Pro and a Pocket meter to work together, or a clamp when we bring that out in the future. And then that allows you to do a lot of different features that just one device on its own can't deliver. So, we already do oscilloscope, multimeter, logger, spectrum analyzer, but then there's going to be a lot of other products that when you combine units, you can bring out these new features like 3-phase voltmeter, phase rotation meter. So all of these are because you can check multiple parameters with multiple devices at the same time. So it's a really exciting possibility that we've kind of unlocked with having this one ecosystem where more and more products can kind of interact together to give you like a really broad spectrum of functionality. Something that we're really excited about going forward. We've already had a lot of enthusiasm for these products as they are now, and we've already had people suggesting all of these other features that they want. So we know that there's a market out there for it. We just have to start delivering on it, really.
Yeah, and we were privileged to be able to attend Mobile World Conference recently. It's just come back this coming Tuesday, and even from that conference, we saw a lot of people coming to our stand, asking about how these products work. How can we use this in spaces like even testing mobile repairs? How do we create solutions around that? And I think thinking about the software side of things, there's an ideal opportunity, to be able to pull data out, because this now all becomes a data-driven world, and to be able to pull data out and use analytics, maybe machine learning moving into the future, to learn more from this data and how we apply that, from a solution mindset.
Yeah, and everything we do, as we kind of mentioned before, we do it with the community in mind. So we use them to help us find these new solutions. So we kind of we use surveying, and we kind of get questions from them, and we kind of show them the product in an early stage, and we get a lot of feedback. And so we're developing with kind of this feedback loop with this large customer base we already have that are really passionate. They're really just helping us drive new solutions.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point that you're making, Ryan, because we don't develop a product because we think it's a good product that goes into the market. We actually validate every single idea that we've got with our consumer base and with our community, and we actually get ideas from our community, and then we say, okay, well, this, we've had so many people asking for the same thing. This is obviously a thing that makes sense to develop. So we can go do an early prototype. We can then send it out, get people to help us test that. And I think one of the things, for investors coming on board specifically is we were actually, as part of the perks, we actually want to invite some of our investors to come along on that journey and be a closer partner with us and get access to, early workshops, product development workshops, and give input into where we're actually taking this business moving forward. Next slide, please. So to maybe touch on why we're raising capital at the moment, we really have some ambitious goals. We believe in what we're doing. We think this is a world first innovation. We certainly the feedback we've gotten from the market is really, really positive. People have really said, listen, we love your product. We love to see what you're going to do next. So to really leverage and capitalize on that demand, we want to increase our inventory. So we want to get out of this pre-order phase. So we want to deliver and are busy delivering all of the pre-orders that we received today, but we want to actually manufacture inventory so that that's available. We're already, starting early conversations with distributors to get some orders on board because we do believe, Pocket Pro is something that's going to sell into all the markets. One of the things we also want to do as part of our feature and software development roadmap is we want to launch a software as a service model. Now, this is to make additional features available to our customers. Now, some of these features might not be, relevant to everyone, but we want people to actually utilize the features that they want in the app. The basic features, the multimeter oscilloscope and logger feature will be freely available on the app. But as we develop more features, we want to bring that in and do that on a software as a service model.
Yeah, it's a little bit like how we've actually developed the product, where a lot of people might just start out using a multimeter, but because we give them the oscilloscope and the logger, they kind of advance further up the chain and do more complicated measurements and kind of can do more. So that's where the SaaS model comes in. They might start off with just the multimeter and think that's enough. And then when they see there's kind of more advanced features as they kind of develop, they can really get into that. So yeah, the SaaS is really exciting for us.
Yeah, and as an e-commerce business, we need to do a lot of digital marketing. So part of the investment that we're raising, we're going to digital marketing. We will use that to also expand into other territories. We've had the US and Europe as major markets, but we do actually see Asia Pacific as a massive opportunity for us. We're already seeing a lot of traction out of Japan and Taiwan and actually South Korea as well. So, we want to get more traction there. So we want to increase our digital marketing spend. As we grow, and obviously, we've already got all these pre-orders, we also need to grow our operational team. So we want to make sure that we deliver excellent support to our customers. So we need to grow our operations as well, build out our development team. And part of that is also developing and launching new products.
Yeah.
You want to touch on maybe?
Well, yeah, the one we already have in the work, which we've already alluded to, is the Pocket Clamp. So that is a clamp meter. It's quite exciting as well because again, our size is so small compared to other clamp meters because we bring it all into the app. So you don't need a lot of the buttons and the screen and everything on the meter itself. So I think it's going to be really exciting with some of the logger functions too. You can kind of put it somewhere and leave it in the wall doing things. So I think it's going to be a pretty exciting product as well. And that's just, we have quite a long roadmap of products that people have suggested to us. The clamp meter is the one that is the most obvious and has had the most support. So that's what we're starting with first, but we will be validating other ideas and pushing out with other products in the future.
Yeah. Next slide. Right, so I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover on the deck. We're ready to open the session up for any questions.
20 minutes on the dot. How about that? Awesome, guys. I really think, every single time I hear this, I always want to know where you're going to go first, what you're going to attack as an international market. But what I'd love to do is invite everybody who's here to use the Q&A feature. There's already a couple of questions in there, so please do populate that there. We've also pulled a few comments and questions from Facebook and also our support function. So we'll absolutely be covering some of those there. But the first question that I can see is asking, can you use a Pocket Pro or Clamp with the app for data acquisition?
Well, in data logging, yes. So yeah, that is the big strategy is that once we've got this ecosystem of the app, we can bring in more and more products. So we have the Pocket Pro. I mean, you can actually do a lot with the Pocket Pro on its own, but the Clamp is going to really facilitate some extra functions. So yeah, you'll be able to bring both of those into the app simultaneously and do kind of, for instance, if you want to measure your power usage, you can, use the Clamp and the Clamp for amps and the Pocket Pro for volts, and you can be measuring your power usage. So, and then you can log that over time. So that's low-hanging fruit, and there's many more other things we're bringing out. But yeah, they'll work together in the same ecosystem, and they'll be able to do data logging.
Yeah, great. No, fantastic. And also, you mentioned Amazon sales. How are your Amazon sales getting on?
Yeah, so we've actually seen a nice ramp up, especially in the US. So we're selling our products in the US and in the UK on the marketplace over there. And we launched that, I think, about 18 months ago. And we've actually seen, a nice ramp up on Amazon sales, especially in the US. I think, the US is more familiar with the Amazon marketplace.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty close to what we're selling on our own site for Pocket Meters.
Yeah. Yes.
So for Pocket Meters first, it's the only product that's on both platforms, and we're probably getting similar sales on Amazon. It is a dominant player in the US, and that's why we went to it. And it's been kind of building. It's a platform you have to build on, but it's been definitely growing.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard that about Amazon. Really, when you've got economies of scale, it's fantastic. But getting that initial traction can definitely be pretty costly to get there. So it's great to hear.
And Robbie, so if I can maybe just expand on that, we're also doing fulfilled by Amazon, and I think it's really important to get product into people's hands as soon as possible, and Amazon helps us with that as well. Yeah,
and then we've got some programs that we're doing, like Launchpad, which is they provide extra support and stuff like that. So we've got a few of those things going. So we're pretty heavily into Amazon. Just the writings on the wall in the US that I think it's over 50% of shoppers only shop on Amazon or shop on Amazon. So you really need to be there to capture that market.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a great question here around international versus domestic split of sales, because so basically asking what is your split between international and domestic sales. Really, how does that kind of guide your future growth plans, and where you're going to kind of interject the capital raised in this round within the business to expand?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So our revenue is split between the US and Europe, 40% each, and 20%, the remaining, there's 16% across Asia Pacific, which is kind of evenly split between Japan and Australia at the moment. The remaining 4% is the rest of the world, really.
Yeah, right. Yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, we've kind of always set this business up as it's fully online, it's fully automated. So we never thought too much about being Australian-based or focusing on just the Australian market. We always knew that we needed to get to a large base early. So, we ship from Hong Kong. It's all automated. We manufacture in China, fulfillment's in Hong Kong. The orders come in and we don't touch a button. It just all goes out. So it's not really all of our design and our intellectual properties here in Australia, but it's really an international company. Yeah,
and I think important to mention that as well is we want to make the shipping and order fulfillment as frictionless as possible. So one of the things that we faced in the last 24 months was VAT reforms in Europe, for instance. So the way that we're addressing that at the moment is we're actually getting VAT registrations done in Europe. We're looking at setting up a warehouse in Europe to make order fulfillment just a lot easier and more effective.
Yeah, super interesting. And another really interesting question here around, given the worldwide shift to remote and hybrid work, have you considered enterprise sales to engineers that are working from home? Pocket can be great considering its functionality, but lower cost. Enterprises don't need to purchase multiple pieces of equipment for an engineer working from home. Another selling point that it is that it's compact. So
that's a great comment.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not sure if we touched on it, but we have seen that in the STEM learning and stuff like that. There's been a lot of remote learning, and a lot of universities come to us saying that students can't afford to come into the lab or have that lab equipment at home. So, I mean, they've already seen that as a big thing to get the product out to them. And another big feature of that is because it works on the phone, they can't always guarantee even all students will have a laptop. So they know that everyone has a phone, and so it always works with the phone. So it's quite unique in that function that you can get really powerful equipment on the phone. You can send it to your lecturer, because you can send the data off, so you can show them you're doing a measurement, something like that. So yeah, that's obviously been, for Pocket Meter, has been great for students. And as we get into Pocket Pro, definitely enterprise is a big area that we're going to look at. So.
Yeah, and for somebody that really loves technology, again, just being exposed to some of the newest innovations at Mobile World Conference recently, we saw, Google Glass and virtual reality and augmented reality coming in, and it's becoming more prolific, in the last couple of years. And, just talking to some of the people there, I foresee this product being something that can be integrated with something like that for field technicians, where you can actually see data, have a hands-free capability while working in the field. So I think there's a host of opportunities for us to expand.
And plus with the phone connection, we can kind of geotag that, we can timestamp it. So if you need to, as a field tech, need to know, that field tech is taking measurements, we've seen them do it, we have all the data there. It's not going to be, paper forms anymore. It's going to be done digitally. And so I think field tech and enterprise stuff is a huge area that we're just waiting for the bandwidth to get into.
So I actually think, because I've seen like a bunch of comments online around this, around your typical use case, like probably your most dedicated audience for this product. You've obviously sold the products worldwide to a whole host of individuals. Like, who's got the best use application for this, and what community is probably the most excited by it, or is probably the most profitable for the business? Because I mean, you look at test and measurement, you really do look at it and say, well, there hasn't been a huge amount of innovation. I definitely haven't seen products like this in the market. But then again, I'm not the target customer. And I think that really kind of painting that picture of who the typical target customer is, what their use cases are, and how you've been able to kind of build your presence and get in front of them would be really great to digest, because I've seen a lot about it, but now's a perfect opportunity to go into that.
Yeah. Do you want to touch
I mean, I guess there's a bit of history in the way we went for our target market, because with Pocket Meter, it's a lower voltage device. So that means you can't do it with household electronics or anything like that, anything at high voltage. So we started off with Pocket Meter, and we were really going after engineers who wanted a powerful device and didn't want to be stuck at a bench. So if they're out in the field doing that, but working with low voltage electronics. And the big market was makers and kind of hobbyists who want to get into electronics. So again, the equipment's really expensive. It can be like, for oscilloscope, it can be over $1,000. So this is a way they can get into that area and start doing work at an affordable price and still have the easy to use device. So that was where we started, was kind of engineers and makers, and we come from an engineering background, the company, so we kind of, that was the market we knew best. But once we delivered that first product, we were getting a lot of feedback about there's other demographics they really wanted, the DIY home people, the field techs, and they really wanted a high voltage piece of equipment. So that's where Pocket Pro came out, really pushed us into much more broader demographic. Really now anyone working with electricity or electronics, or in most environments, will be able to use our products. So we really opened it up a much broader thing, and that's why I think Pocket Pro has seen a lot more traction. It is a much larger scope product. So kind of to summarize, we've got kind of the maker, the engineer who want a mobile device, and then we've really got the broad spectrum of people who are just working with electronics anywhere, field techs, engineers as well, and electricians, and just even DIY at the home. So kind of a much broader spectrum for some of our future products.
So we're definitely targeting a consumer market.
Yes.
But at the same time, we've also had advanced conversations with people coming out of the automotive space. Because I think for the automotive space is people traditionally have to use equipment that's wired up, it's got an LCD on the screen, and now they've got to get into hard to reach places, and it's really hard to see what's happening on the LCD screen. Now they can actually take a Pocket Meter on a low voltage, a car, which is fine, or even a Pocket Pro, position it in the place and actually sit inside the car and take measurements.
Drive the car.
And drive the car potentially. So we think, that's an ideal opportunity, and we've already, got a lot of interest out of that space. The other one as well is we've recently had a conversation with a large utility who said they've got a lot of field technicians that goes out, that has to work on houses, or even housing inspections was another one that we've had, to customize a solution specifically to doing, just a house inspection. So these are early discussions, but we do believe that's, we're a massive opportunity.
Yeah, we're trying to build a kind of a platform that then we can go after these other demographics as we see it as a market for them. So, it's a very open platform that can do a lot of things. We've only put a few functions in it at the moment, but we know there's room for more functionality in it. We've got the app base. So as we want to go after a more specific demographic, we can build that in. That's where the SaaS model comes in, and that's where the open platform comes in. So,
yeah, super interesting. Yeah, there's so much that you can talk about when it comes to the future plans of the product.
We could talk for a while, yeah.
I mean, you've just got to solve your immediate problems, which you've got, and serve your immediate customers, and you can figure out a lot of the rest when you've got the cash flow, of course, from raising funds to ease that cash flow in the business, and of course have a sort of wildly profitable operation. You can
and that's why we're raising now. Is part of that is we've kind of just getting this product certified and into production has been a huge battle. Kind of the size of this product is unheard of for like a high voltage Cat 3 rated product. So kind of we've solved all these massive issues. We have the app platform, we have the product now certified and being delivered, and that's why we're really looking forward to the future now. So we've had all these things we wanted to do, but we've been buried in development of this kind of key piece of hardware, and now we're our heads out of water and we're ready to start going forward. So.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got a question here asking, can you go into more detail about your digital marketing strategies and how you'll reach specific market segments? So there is a lot to digest here.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it. I mean, it is digital marketing. So we've got an online strategy. That's our main strategy. So, I mean, using the traditional platforms, Facebook, Google and all of those. But we also have the strategy of kind of going to trade shows and things like that as well. But we've got, generally, it's a content-based strategy. So we want to have an organic growth strategy. We can't just put money into Facebook alone. So we're coming up with, we want to do learning partner with learning institutions to do kind of programs, and then we can kind of do YouTube series on how to do measurements, how to do this, and kind of build an organic base of kind of content that's really interesting to our users. So we already have quite a large following on Facebook, on Instagram, and all of that kind of stuff. So we are working on just traditional Facebook ads and that kind of market, but really what we do is we go, if we want to get into a new area, we go and build content in that area that's going to be exciting for those users and show how our product is working for them in that area. So kind of like automotive, we know we can go and partner with some automotive YouTubers and partner with some people doing automotive stuff, show them using the product and how they use it, disseminate it into that community, and then start sharing it on our platform. So it's really an organic based strategy for digital marketing. We want to get out there and just show our product in the community doing the jobs that we know it can do for the users. So.
Yeah, it's really important for us to build this community and make it a learning opportunity, build out content where people can really learn and contribute and learn from each other. Because I think that's the best way to actually get the message out there, get people to understand what we're doing, get people to contribute to what we're doing. And actually, I think that's the optimal way of running a business and building products for the market out there. So like Robin said, we're doing the organic stuff. We're also working with influencers. So we're working with people that's on YouTube that's got a massive following, that's providing material out there, it's talking about electronics specifically, or maybe in the automotive space. So we're working with those guys. And providing them with content.
We do market more in a lifestyle way, really. We want to show people what they can do with the product and how it can free them from working kind of traditionally and do more exciting things. So we want to show that exciting content, and so we partner with people who are doing exciting projects and get them to use our product and show how it can be used in the world. So,
yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic to hear. You've had a product related question here as well. Can you touch on the accuracy and calibration, please?
So I won't go through all of the accuracy. I mean, it is very accurate. We do have a calibration. So on Pocket Pro, we will allow the users to calibrate it. So that means that you can get it kind of calibrated yearly and use it for like places that require certified calibration and things like that. So that's coming out where it's in the development thing, and it was promised in Kickstarter. So we will allow the users to calibrate it, but it is highly calibrated already from the factory. So I think, you know, in a way, it's a Swiss Army knife. We kind of say, like, it does a lot of everything. So it's kind of, you know, you might find if you really do want to do some high-end oscilloscope work, you can go, there will be a piece of equipment that might be better suited for that. But this is the Swiss Army knife test stuff. So it can do a lot of things very, very well. And that's generally what we're finding from our users. We're at the sweet spot of what they need to do in their day-to-day. So, you know, we haven't kind of over-spec'd it in one category to the nth degree. We're trying to be the sweet spot for the largest, broadest market and keep the price affordable and keep it small and things like that.
Because ultimately we want people to be able to take this tool, put it in their pocket and go wherever they want to go. You know, so traditionally they won't be able to take, you know, heavy pieces of equipment and just stick in their pocket because I don't know. I sometimes find myself in a situation where I want to measure something quickly and then I don't have something, and then I have to, you know, go to the house, fetch the multimeter or whatever. This is just really, really convenient. So we do believe it becomes actually a complementary product in that regard. Just coming back to the calibration and accuracy point of view, there's a full spec sheet on our website which people can go and view. But we do, you know, we build the products to be as accurate as possible.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. And yeah, you've had you touched on it a little bit there, but somebody has asked, how does your product compare with other oscilloscope apps that are available for Android, etc., some of which are free? Yeah, I think maybe you could go into the competition a little bit more as a landscape on this.
Yeah, so I guess it is back to that being where the Swiss Army knife. So there are things that are like a little portable oscilloscope, but then they won't have kind of the multimeter functionality or the data logging functionality or other functionality that we're providing. So I think, and generally a lot of those are kind of a dedicated screen and they're quite traditional still in shape. They are maybe portable, but so, you know, I think in essence, we're kind of not going out there to be like way better at any one. If you take one traditional product and put it against us, we're not trying to beat them on all parameters. What we're trying to do is do enough of everything to really fulfill a large scope of functions that you want to do. So that's where our power is being this multifunctional device. And if you look at the more devices that we're going to be taking on later with just app updates, we're going to be bringing out more and more functionality. So we're really going after being a broad spectrum. We can do everything and we can do it pretty well, and we're going to be small and mobile. So there are other devices out there that are small, but they're generally more like a dedicated oscilloscope, or they're a dedicated multimeter. They're not really going for this multi-tool style.
Yeah, and you know, on the oscilloscope side of things, I mean, we do support four channels, you know, with four Pocket Pros. We think of it, rather than going deep, we're going a little bit wider and providing more functionality, more versatility.
Yeah, great. No, that's great to hear. And the Swiss Army knife, yeah, it's a great comparison there, because I mean, while products out there can solve those problems, ultimately it's just going to be incredibly frustrating for the end user if they're wanting to achieve a certain goal with a certain product and they can't get that. They'll probably end up buying your product anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the strategy too is to be really easy to use. So that's not just in the product design being really simple and clean, but also in the app design and future stuff that we're going to do with the learning behind it. So it's you know, a lot of these are kind of dedicated, kind of very focused on engineers' devices that are like, yes, they're small, but they're kind of can be a little bit more complex to use, or the user interface isn't quite as easy to use. So we're kind of multi-pronged. We're really making sure that we do a lot of things and we make it easy for the user to do those things as well.
Yeah, definitely. You got a question here around your production costs, which everyone who's gone through a Kickstarter campaign, I think, is being questioned around. How did they stack up basically against your estimates for the initial Kickstarter campaign? I think I've heard so many Kickstarter stories now. Yeah.
I mean, I guess from Kickstarter to delivering has been a long journey for us. One, fraught with getting sure that it was certified and safe. So safety has always been the key metric for us. You know, it's now moving into high voltage. It was number one. So, I mean, it has been frustrating the time it took, but we knew we couldn't really step back from that goal of being really safe. So that meant time has passed. And in that time, COVID, chip shortages, shipping issues, you know, shipping costs, all of those things have gone up, but we were obviously locked into the price from Kickstarter. So, you know, we if we'd delivered right away, we would have been close to our estimate, but as time's gone on, things have gone up. And so it has been, you know, has stretched it out. We are constantly trying to get ahead of that problem, get stock in early and stuff like that. But as a startup, you can't kind of buy in all the components, you know, 2 years early before the design's finished. So, you know, if you're a bigger company and things, you could have managed a little bit better and had more provision. But we've definitely worked through it. We come, as I said, we kind of come from product design and product development background. So we knew all of these issues and we were kind of aware of them. But sometimes there's not much you can do when the price of components goes up. You really have to just, as a small company, live with those things. But we've just taken on those, you know, we've just taken on those issues. So
yeah, and I think from a costing point of view, what's important to us is we don't just accept, oh, this is the state of affairs at the moment. You know, we've got a team. If something comes up, like the part shortages, we just get onto phone calls and, you know, do the research and see if we can find alternative parts. If we see, you know, chip prices going up, then we see, is there something alternative? And we've actually done pretty well to source everything that we needed, you know, within the range that we kind of estimated originally. So we've had a little bit of an increase, but I think if it's 10 to 12% more, you know, it's probably going to be a lot, which I think is remarkable if you think about where we started and actually, you know, where we ended up today.
And from a business point of view, as we saw the writing on the wall with the chip prices going up and everything like that, we have increased prices for pre-orders on the site now. So, you know, we're managing the price of the product based on what the future cost of that product is going to be. But, you know, obviously with the Kickstarter, the prices were locked in. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on this a little bit earlier, but you've got a question here around how big your community is right now. Of course, you've sold a lot of products. You've, you know, done 2 successful crowdfunding campaigns and kind of built a strong community. But yeah, I guess across kind of your socials and your email database, that would be what's being asked there.
So you'll get more of this information in the offer document as well. But we've got more than 25,000 people, you know, on our total subscriber list, of which the majority of those people are actually customers.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of them have come back. So, you know, we started with a relatively smaller Kickstarter for Pocket Meter, but a lot of them were the ones who wanted the next product and kind of suggested we do it and kind of built up. So they became the community who bought the next product. And a lot of them have been suggesting for Pocket Clamp. So we know that every time we build a new product, we've already got a dedicated kind of community that are keen on it. And we can survey them to help us design it, and we can help, and we kind of know we have a market ready to go for it. So we keep growing that community as we sell more products and bring more people into the fold and do a lot more, you know, YouTube influencers and stuff. We get more people into the community, and then they become repeat customers, which is really important to us too. So a lot of them have multiple products, and that's it's also a validation of what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to invite the attendees to get involved in terms of asking any questions which might have popped up in the time that we've had this session together and covered all of this. There's a lot, and I think that one element which I'm going to kind of grab from the question that I've seen on our Facebook certainly is kind of what your future plans are for Pocket. You've touched on this a little bit, but really in terms of what you can expect to be able to, I mean, what you're hopefully looking to be able to achieve with the funds in the next 12 months, what the future of the company may look like, and what kind of picture you're hoping to paint.
Yeah, I mean, we really want to build on this momentum that we've seen, you know, with the Kickstarter campaigns, and we believe that once we have product that's available to ship, you know, we're going to see a ramp up. So our plan is really to get all the products out, get new inventory made, have that available and ready. At the same time, you know, we're engaging distribution. So we really want to get, you know, without going into too much forecast details, but we want to get to that $5 million revenue mark. But what's really important to us really is to get to profitability in the shortest space of time as possible, you know, and we're hoping to achieve that in the next 12 to 18 months. So that's kind of rough timelines, you know, and where we're looking to go with the business.
But yeah, even with the profitability in mind, we're still doing a lot of R&D on future products. So we do have the clamp that's still kind of being worked on, and then we're going to start working on the software as a service servers and then bringing out modules for that, because again, that they actually lead into the profitability. You know, be able to sell to we have, you know, going to have over 20,000 people with product, and then be able to sell them new services. Is a way to kind of ramp up that.
We do invest into this R&D. So our R&D is actually capitalized on our balance sheet, and we do see that as, you know, as future value in the business. So that's really important to us.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And yeah, I mean, the future and where you're going as a company, I think there's so many different directions you can talk about. I mean, the fact that you've got an app for your users is significantly leaps ahead of the old products which are being served in the market, because then, heck, somebody's got a Pocket Meter or Pocket Pro, and they can effectively be communicated to through the app with new products that you can notify them of. Like, how's your kind of app engagement? How's the user base interacted with the features of the app so far?
Yeah, we've had good interaction. That's really interesting. So we're actually using some of the analytics that's available to us on Google. And we've seen a good interaction between the different features. So one of the things that was really important to us is, you know, how are people actually using the product? Are people mainly using the multimeter? Are they mainly using the logger? Are they mainly using the oscilloscope? And what we've actually seen in the last, I guess, 3 to 4 months since we started shipping Pocket Pro, is that a lot of people are actually using the oscilloscope function. Our assumption was going to be that, you know, people will use the multimeter function mainly. But it seems like a lot of people are really liking the oscilloscope function. So that's what we've seen. It's very early at the moment from an analytics point of view, but yeah, that's what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, with the launch of the new product, I guess might not be aware, but yeah, it was a launch of a new app too. So it was a brand new app that could work with the Pocket Pro, but also had a lot of the multiple product functionality built into it, which the old app didn't. So we've just launched a brand new app with the brand new product that works for both products, the previous product and this one, and future products. So that's the base that we build on, and we did a lot of usability testing in that to make sure that people could get around it easily. And so yeah, we've definitely seen a lot more, and the data is fresh on that. You know, we're only rolling it out, so we're watching it closely, and we're still developing it pretty closely.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of like the Tesla model of you get a product, and then the features of the product can upgrade throughout the entire life cycle of having it, which is that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I think really as well, it'd be great to kind of highlight when you're looking to open the campaign. Of course, for everybody who's here, I can absolutely imagine that you've all expressed interest to invest, and you're eagerly awaiting the offer document, which will be available when the offer opens. But I'll hand over to you guys to kind of talk a little bit more about the timeline and getting involved.
Yeah, so the offer is actually opening up next Wednesday. And we'd love for everyone to express their interest to be notified of when that offer opens. So that's the timeline that we're looking at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic. And it'll be in a private phase. So if you've expressed your interest, you'll be the ones to be able to see it first. So we'll be also available for more interaction then. So once you've seen that document, our number's there. You can call us and talk to us about it if there's something you want to know about it. But yeah, that's a private phase just for you guys who are early in the system to have a look at it and give us any feedback and talk to us before we open it up publicly.
Yeah, most definitely. And look, I'd love to just invite the attendees to ask any final questions, and also to ask you guys if there's anything else that you feel that maybe we haven't touched on in as much detail as you wanted to, and you'd love the attendees to know.
Well, I guess, maybe our excitement in this, like it's been a long road to get to where we are now, and I feel like we have such a great base of community and of the product, and the early reviews on the product are really positive. So we just feel like we're in a really great space to go forward and project forward with, as you can see, we barely touched on all of the ideas we have for the company, but obviously what we're going to do is focus on the ones that are the lowest hanging fruit and the ones that we can see the most traction with, and just there's a lot to do. So we're so excited for this next phase of the company once we've really proved where we are so far.
Yeah, we love having you guys come along with us on this journey. We hope you join us on the investment round. We're really excited about the business. It's not every time that you come across an opportunity, where you start something and then suddenly you in multiple countries all around the world. Certainly not businesses I've worked in. It takes hard effort and hard time to actually get there. Not that I'm saying we didn't put in the effort or time, but certainly we've seen significant interest in what we're doing. We do believe we're innovating in the space. We believe this market has been led by big companies that's been around for 20, 30, 40 years. That's really lost a little bit of that flavor of innovation. And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but I do believe we're doing something significantly different. We're building new technology, new apps, new software that can really bring new innovation into this test and measurement space.
Yeah, I guess the final thing on why we're actually doing the virtual race too is it's just, we've loved the community and what they've been able to provide in helping us shape the products. And we just want to take that to the next level. You guys have already helped us bring out products and been our biggest ambassadors in kind of promoting us to your friends and telling everybody what a great product it is. So we want to do the same thing with the company. We get investors in that are excited, that love the company, and that can help us shape it going forward. So that was the real driver behind doing a virtual raise over any other raise, was these people have been so passionate, and let's just get them involved in the ground level of the company and have them help us shape it from the inside.
Yeah, no, that's always awesome to hear, because I mean, you've built this community. You really want to nurture that community, and I think what's impressive to me is how you've done those 2 crowdfunding rounds, but your monthly sales and your pre-orders are still consistent, and that is a challenging thing to do when you've built a company and a community from nothing, and then you're continuing to sell products and really kind of grow in that market is a very, very promising sign for the future. We've got a question here from Adam. May have mentioned, but is there an expected release date for the clamp meter?
Not a release date. It is not as difficult a product as Pocket Pro, and a lot of the groundwork for it is, a lot of the work in Pocket Pro was the app and all of that kind of stuff, and a lot of that's been built. So it's not a huge amount of work as the Pocket Pro was, but we're definitely not going to put a timeline on it yet. We're still, we kind of do it in stages, and we're kind of in stage 1, which is like kind of, we've finalized the concept design, but we've really got to start engineering it. So we've been focused on getting the Pocket Pro out and making sure it's the best product. So, now that we've kind of solved a lot of the problems with Pocket Pro, our attention will turn to the Pocket Clamp. But yeah, we're not quite ready to put a timeline on it.
Yeah, oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Well, look, yeah, I mean, in terms of the opening of the offer next week, you've already covered that one, so I really won't cover it in too much more detail. But for everybody who's here, if there was any part of the webinar that you do want to catch again, we have recorded the session, so we will be sending that around to everybody. But really, really appreciate your time today, guys, and kind of explaining everything about Pocket. I love these sessions and kind of getting to know businesses a lot more, and I really think that the future of where you can go, it's just a case of picking from your options and really focusing your efforts on it. But it's a really exciting product, and yeah, we're thrilled to be working with you guys. So really want to thank everybody who's attended today, and yeah, want to allow you guys to kind of sign off with any final comments.
Yeah, just again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We're available for any questions. The offer will be live next week. During that time as well, feel free to reach out to us, and we're really excited to get you to join us on this journey.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, everyone, thank you so much for attending today's session. As mentioned, we'll send it around, and yeah, hope to see you in the investment offer next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robbie.
Thank you.